Welcome to our Wednesday clinic. This is Blue Planet and Wet Feet. I'm Jeff Chang, and Rob Stellick is here with me, along with two of our diehard students that are coming all winter long, and they're going to be in great shape after this when the season starts. So today we're going to talk about the catch. The catch is probably the most important part of the stroke. If you don't have a good clean catch, the rest of your stroke is not going to be as efficient as it could be. So you need a good clean catch with no bubbles, and if you don't have that, no matter how hard you pull or how fast you pull over or do the turnover, you're not going to be as efficient as if you had a nice clean catch to start your pull off. So nice clean catch, what that entails is the blade entering the water. Let's say this is the water, nice and clean, no bubbles, quietly. A good thing to do is listen to your paddle as you do your stroke. If you hear turbulence or bubbles, that means you're not having a good clean catch. So that's easy to say. How do you get a nice clean catch, no bubbles, etc. But how do you do that? So what's nice to do is maybe practice in slow motion. And we're going to use this. Rob, can you see the wall here? The ground? Okay, so we're going to pretend this is the water here, and then this is the water line, and I'm standing on top of my board. So what the catch is you want to enter first of all with a positive blade angle. So what does that mean? That means the face of the paddle is facing down to the water. It's not facing up or vertical, it's facing down like that. So that's what's called a positive blade angle. So you want a positive blade angle, and then the first movement is down. Okay, that's very important. Instead of the first movement being pulling back, the first movement is straight down. So you want to get the paddle going down into the water all the way up to the neck, so that when you start pulling back, you're getting the full effect of the paddle. So the first movement is down all the way, so it's the neck's in the water, and then you start pulling back. So there's a couple things that people think about when they think about putting the paddle down into the water. The drill we used to do a long time ago is think of it as a spear gun, and then you spear it into the water, and then you start pulling. But that's a little bit hard to do when you're actually paddling. You can't actually spear because it's an awkward motion with your body to actually make the blade go into the water like that in one single entry point in the water. So the more common way to describe it now is the first movement is down. So it can be that instead of thinking about a spearing motion like that, the first movement is straight down like that. So you can think about that. And it's a little easier to accomplish when you're actually doing the paddle stroke, is the first movement down like that, and it entails moving my body like that, and that gets the first movement down. So when you make that first movement down, you don't want to slap the water or do it real hard. You want it to be real smooth and actually maybe slow and soft. So that's the most important thing, nice, soft, smooth entry into the water, down movement. And then once you're in there and everything's all clean and good, then you can start pulling back. And I think if you do that and you kind of key and watch yourself, and you maybe do it in slow motion first and then try to speed it up, you'll notice that when you do start actually pulling the paddle back, your paddle is actually locked in really well, and you'll be able to pull yourself forward past the paddle. So it's the same thing for competitive swimmers. The catch is it's the same exact thing. It's super important. The catch is going forward and then pulling like this, and there's no bubbles. It's the same theory. You want everything super clean and smooth when you do the stroke through the water. So that's the basics of a good clean catch. It's easy to describe and it's hard to do. So ways to accomplish that maybe are having video. We did a video session yesterday or last week, and people could see what they were doing. The blade angle especially, that was pretty telling with the video, because you can't always, like a lot of times it looks like you think you're doing this, but actually you're entering the water here with a vertical blade instead of a blade at a positive angle. So it's not always that you have to reach forward to get that positive angle. You can get a positive angle closer to your body too. So the other thing you don't want to do is kind of overreach and try to get a positive angle and then try to put it down. You can reach where it's natural and comfortable and still move down and still get that positive angle. And then that's why the blades are built this way too. It helps you get a positive angle because the blade already has a positive angle built in. Or the good ones do, like this one. So.
Okay, Sean, so you've heard this stuff a few times from us before, so what's your takeaways? I think what Jeff said about, I've heard the analogy of spearing the fish too, and one of the things that I find when I try that motion of really stabbing in, I do kind of lose my balance forward a little bit. It's awkward, so I've never really mastered the clean catch, you know. And watching the video from last week, the two things I took away were that my catch wasn't that great, and I couldn't believe how far I was paddling past my feet. Like, I'm really conscious of telling people in the shop, don't paddle past your feet. And then I looked at my video and I'm like, wow, I really paddle past my foot.
Interesting. So maybe instead of like just spearing it, shooting it forward, maybe just could try to come more like lean and lean forward, into like lean with your body more than your hands, like pushing it down with your hands, I think.
Yeah, I think what you said about coming down, not necessarily thrusting that spear down, but maybe get the clean catch with no bubbles, and it can be a downward motion at the same, but getting all the blade in.
Yeah, and keep in mind too that you're moving, so the water's moving past you. So as you're moving forward, the blade will travel backwards anyway. But that's why it's important to kind of quickly get it in the water, because otherwise if you're kind of pulling it down while the water's moving past you, then by the time you get it in, it's already past your body. Yeah? So yeah, get it in quickly is important.
I think the other thing I've heard before is imagine you're putting your paddle in cement, and that you're really pulling your board past that point. Like that point is almost stationary and your board is moving past that point. So that's another thing, a way to think about it.
Exactly, yeah. If you're doing it right, it should feel like, thick chocolate or cement is a good analogy, where it's just stuck in one place and you're moving past it. Yeah,
yep.
Exactly.
All good stuff.
Yeah, thank you.